How objects appear in AutoCAD architecture is controlled by more than layers. Normally in AutoCAD we use layer to control the color, the line type, and visibility of objects, but AutoCAD architecture uses display technology. In this lesson we'll talk about display sets. Let's take a look at that. I have a drawing open with two viewports, one in 3D on the left-hand side and one in plan on the right-hand side. If I select one of the doors, you'll notice that in plan the door is open, and in the isometric view you'll see the door is closed. There are some other differences as well. For instance, the isometric view you can see there's a door stop, but in the plan view there isn't a door stop. In addition, as I change my display configuration, we'll see that the doors vanish and the walls heal. Or if I go to a presentation display configuration, we'll see that the walls fill. During this entire process, I didn't do anything to affect the layers. So what's controlling all of this? On the Manage tab, if we go to the Style and Display panel and select the Display Manager tool, it opens the Display Manager dialog box. In AutoCAD architecture, there are three levels of display control. Configurations are what we are adjusting at the bottom of the screen on the application status bar. For instance, if I look at the presentation display configuration, on the Configuration tab, we'll see that there is a display representation set assigned to different view directions. So in the top view, we see that we're using the plan presentation, whereas in the default, we're using model. The default is being used on the left-hand side. If I switch back to the medium detail and take a look, we'll see the default remains the model display set, but top is now plan. And if we go to reflected, we'll also see that the default is model and top is reflected. So what are display sets? Well, let's come down and take a look. Display sets are the next level down in the display hierarchy. Display sets gather together all of the objects in your file, which are listed under representations by object. Only the objects under representation by object are affected by display technology, but there are quite a few of them, such as the walls and the doors and the windows. Each one of these representations has a different way of appearing. So for example, a door or a wall or a window will be displayed differently depending on whether they are using a plan representation or a model representation. These representations are then gathered together into sets. So for example, the current set is called Plan Presentation. If I select that and come over to the right, choosing the second tab called Display Representation Control, and I expand the dialog box, we'll see that for each of the objects listed, there are display representations available across the top. As I scroll down and come down to, let's say, a wall, when I scroll across, we'll see that there is a check mark for that wall under the Plan Presentation representation. When I switch to Plan and come down to Wall, we'll see the check mark is now under the Plan display representation. So depending on which set is being used, the objects within that set will change what their appearance is. These different sets are then used under configurations to control what the objects look like depending on the view direction.